Hello everyone and welcome back. So we have been working on this city, build a game for quite some time, and I got kind of lost in the road building mechanism. And I kind of had to take a break from it all. And at the same time, I finished my degree. So I'm sorry for have been gone. I could see that I lost some subscribers. That's completely fair. But yes, I'm trying to get back now to making these games that I really enjoy doing. So thank you all for watching and participating with me today. And first of all, we will start with a brand new project. So here we are. And one thing that we notice immediately is that now there are no folders when you start a new project. I don't know if the game maker setup changed that or something, but honestly I kind of like it. So we can keep it all organized in whichever way we want to. So we have this world, right? And we have a couple of settings. So we'll just make some nice grass color. So something kind of disturbing like that. Today I'm going to completely ignore the road building mechanism and I want to focus on a simple setup. We will build it up in a slightly different way than I tried to do back last year, but it's gonna be awesome. So let's start. So we will make a new log file. That's pretty much the agenda for today. So we will start by creating the citizen object. For now, they will have one variable called state, which is equal to 0. And then we will basically make an enum for the kind of states they can be in. But what we will do next is make the house object. And then we can say family is equal to -1. That means that we also would need a family object. I like that. And then town center. And then in the town center, we give the variable amount of wood. Okay. Well, we need to house 4 families. Let's say we're going to be able to build 5 houses with the number of starting wood we have. So there's going to be place to grow the city. How much wood should it take to build a house? Let's say a house costs 10 wood, so we start with 50. Okay. Next up, we are going to go back to the citizen, because now we need to put in the pathfinding, pick a resource, and build the house. So, okay, we will do an enum citizen states. We have this, then we say in caps idle walk. Target is equal to -1. So target is just where they want to go to, right? But you know what? I think this actually makes sense. And then we can have like this enum tasks, and then we can have build house. Just start with a basic none, and then we have a build house. Then we can have the task is equal to none. Okay. So we will most likely change this later to like a job or something like that, right? But for now, we'll just keep it simple with a task. And then we have carry, yeah. And for now as well, they can only carry 1 log of wood per person. I feel like when you make an enum, isn't it like a global variable? Yeah, a global identifier. So I would like to have a separate object to create these objects. Yeah. And then we'll just have like a game start instead of create. I mean, I don't know if it makes any difference. I feel like I like that better. So let's go back into the citizen. That's where we defined these. Boom, 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 and boom, and boom. Define enums. Next up, we are gonna make it so that we can create the houses. So we will start off by making a user interface. And I remember we have been talking about those graphical user interfaces. This will be also graphical, and this will control whatever the user does on the keyboard or the mouse. What we'll do here is we will define 2 variables. Mx is equal to 0 and my is equal to 0. These will refer to the mouse. Display set GUI size. We just keep this at a full HD at this point. And then we will go into the draw event here. We'll just make a draw event, and then we will say we'll make a variable called progression is equal to 0. Okay, then we'll say in here, draw text. Before that, we will say draw set horizontal align. If middle, I always forget if it's middle or center. Oh, this is good. And then what's half of 1920? Am I good at math? No. 960. Place town center, and that is if progression is equal to 0. Okay. Then we can go into the room. We can place the user interface. Excuse me. We can place the user interface and see if everything is okay. It says place town center, and that's all. Next step, we make it so that we can place the town center. Okay, so what we do is we draw, and then we can just now decide as well how large is the town center, and we will make that 20 by 20. So we can say -10, -10. Outline false. Okay, that's pretty much it. We can see if this works. No, it does not, and that is because we have not done anything with the mouse variables. So I mean, why are we even doing this? Is it because, yeah, it's because of this. I'm pretty sure that the mouse returns a floating point, and I would like for it to be pixel perfect. Yeah, that's great. And before we do anything else, I would like to go in the settings for this. Start full screen. That's pretty much all, and I don't want to do any of this. Let me just clean the project and run it, just to see how this looks. Yeah, I think it's fine. First thing I want to do is in the step event, if keyboard check pressed, escape, game end. Okay, but other than that, now we are actually in the place where we can place the thing down, and so we need to give the town center we could make a sprite for it. Sure, let's do that. Sprite, town center, and we will just set these to 20. It now just has a little bit more of that glowing vibe. And then we will position the alignment there. We will give it to this guy. Then we go back into the user interface, and then we go here. If mouse check pressed, the left mouse button. Oh. So now if we click anywhere in the world, we can create the town center, and then we will also set the progression to 1. Okay? So it's just to guide the user into a very quick start. Let's just put it here, boom. Beautiful. For now, I actually think these are too small in general, so I would like to okay. When you scale up, let's see what you scale down by 4. So let's have 960. That is 450 plus 30, that's 40. Yeah, and then scale down, that's 540, 270. I should also have okay. Let's see, I don't know. Yeah, I actually have this. So we'll do something else. We'll do this instead. Okay. And that should solve all our problems. Beautiful, look at that. So next up, we will make the citizen. Okay. And our citizens will be, yeah, that's a person seen from above in 8 by 8 pixels. No eyes or mouth or hair or anything. That's we don't care about that right now. Okay. Put the sprite on this guy. When we create the town center, we want to create the families around the town center. So we will create a family on each side of the town center. Let's just start completely simple by just saying it's 2 citizens. Okay, so we start with 8 citizens in total. We're just gonna create, and actually, before I do anything else, I would like to make these layers. So a new instance layer, we call this buildings, and another instance layer we call this citizens. And our instances will always be on top either way. So this is just the basic instances. What that means is we would like to, when we create anything from now on, we want to create a layer instead. Okay. So, and then here we'll say buildings. And then it knows what that means. So that's pretty cool. And the same we will then do when we from here start creating. Yeah, so we'll create the families, and then the families will then create the citizens within the families. It makes more sense that they are initialized in the family object, not in here or anywhere else. So let's do it like that. So x, and y is going to be 1 of minus, I don't know, citizens. Or actually here it would just be instances, because the families are not gonna be like displayed anywhere, so it doesn't really matter. And then we can say family, and then the family will then create the citizens in the citizen layer. So create four families. Okay. There we go. And then in the family objects, we now say when they are created, create this is create layer x minus 10y citizens object system. And they now every time create two citizens. Okay. And I assume that what we can try and see what happens now. If I press it here, boop. Now we have spawned 8 citizens. So that's pretty cool. I would like to just move them a bit closer to each other. Okay, so now we have 4 families, 8 citizens, and with these citizens we should be able to make them build a house. And a house I want to be a bit smaller than the town center. So we can do like this. We can just force the player to place 4 houses. Just make a houses to create. That's what I mean. Houses. And every time we do, so now I think, should it be 16 by 16? Yeah, let's just do that. Just a slight bit smaller. I want it to feel very free, and I don't want it to feel too like gritty, like 16 or 32 by 32. I want it to feel very free, and the buildings have very different sizes. So now we go back in here. House. And then if houses to create is equal to 0, progression is equal to 2. Right now there's absolutely no constraints in the house building mechanism, and I have not made a sprite for the houses, so let's just do that real quick. Okay. And that should be good enough for me. What's the point? Oh, right. Some weird solutions are coming up here, but it's all good. Let's see here. Right, place a house there, place a house there, place a house there, and place a house there. Very cool. Now the house is just built completely by itself, right? So make a new object, call it object construction, and it will just have a simple, right now just call it building is equal to house. And then we can say at this destroy event instance create xy buildings, and then here building, the variable we decided before. Duplicate this and call it construction. Okay. And so instead of creating a house, it will create a construction. Okay. And then now comes the fun part. So we're gonna say now if instance exists construction. Okay, so for now all of the citizens are jobless, so they just need to build the houses to live in. Okay, then we first say, so here the wood carry. Okay, so this is specifically for wood. That's okay, and we can just set it to 0 then. If carry is equal to 0, then then the target becomes the and else so effectively what we're going to do we will change this a little bit up. If task is equal to citizen tasks dot build house, then we will do all of this. And then we can just say here, if task is equal to build house. Okay. Now I want to do something like in here in the draw event, you say draw self, and then I say draw text minus string of task. Okay. Now I'm not sure if I'm pretty sure it's just going to say 0, 1, whatever, which is perfectly fine. Just to make sure that they are updated. And we can try and see what happens now. Yeah, so now we have all this beautiful ugly text all over the place. Yeah, I think we can make a little font for them. Something really simple. Here's the best one while still discernible. Draw set font. Yeah, that's fine. Now we're gonna set the citizen states to walk. If state. Then we set the state back to idle, and then we just want to move them 1 pixel at a time, and we do not move diagonally. If target x is larger than x, and x is equal to x minus 1. Okay. Else if. So now basically this is the simplest pathfinding mechanism I could possibly imagine. Oh yeah, well first we gotta do it like this. So we're just gonna say target else is same. This. Okay. And so it will move if they're not exactly the same, which they should be, because that's also why we want everything to be pixel perfect. And we'll just do the same down here with y. Okay. So horizontal first, then vertical, and we have to change the lines. Let's see how. Oh, okay. Let's just not do that then. Then just put it into one big else. Okay, let's see. We do like this. Then we can put a house. Interesting. First of all, I cannot place the construction here. Okay, let's try and see again here. Okay. Well, I have to have made some kind of mistake, obviously. If x is larger, let's make it purple. I think I flipped these around. Oh yeah, yes. So because the target becomes that, right? So now the task is here to say, okay, well, the target is, this is updated continuously, which kind of bothers me. But let's just say it like this, okay? So if this object target is this, then x. I mean, we actually don't even need to say target here. We actually just need to say like this. Right? And then the rest will take care. Then it will take care of it by itself, I think. Let's see if it actually is going to work out as I want it to. Well, it does that. Well, alright. So next up is, then when we go to the construction site, we place the things, the resources down. And so, what's equal to 0? Construction. Build progress is equal to 0. And that is out of 100. I mean, for example, like an old game like Age of Empires, then all the resources are just placed there immediately, and then they go and just to build it, right? I want to include to have both parts where the citizens have to move their stuff there, and then they have to build it, like in Manor Lords, for example. I think that's really cool. It adds like to this realistic, dynamic feel of the entire thing, like it's alive, right? And actually, I just thought of another thing. Yes, I think the way to do this for now is to have a separate object, construction, let's call it ready. So instead we will say construction ready. If, and then it's gonna create this one, which I would give another name or another sprite for. Be ugly, but again, does not matter. We make it pretty later. That puts us back. We go in here. Okay, that is prepare build means now move resources. So we'll go and change this for the. And then we go up here in the exact same way. If task is equal to none, we will put this around up here, so to encapsulate both of these. And let's prioritize the ready builds, okay? And then now, instead of this here, which we will also actually have to finish, and I'll do that right now. And this time around, we'll just set the target, and then we say here, that should work out just fine. And before we check that out, we will go here, and then we'll say else if build. Okay. All right, and then we'll say here else if state is equal to build. I removed that in here, so that this in ready it should be progress is equal to 0. Let's set it to 1 second per resource. So in this case, it's equal to 60 times 10 to 6. Like requirement, basically. And then we'll just say here if progress is yes, progress equal to right. There we go. That should be pretty good. And then finally, the progress plus. Let's just try and see if this even works. So I don't know what these two are doing, but these two are moving something. Curious. Okay, so it could move the wood there, this entire thing here, with finding the target. We are actually going to do the same safety mechanisms up here. Yeah, okay. Let's just try one more time. I'm also curious about why some of them are not moving properly. Oh, there you go. Oh, okay. Oh wow, okay, that's why. I'm just silly. So now they're all moving it there. Cool. Where the target disappears and becomes a new target, right? Ta-da! So then the next point becomes to change the here. Start task. I think it's only both these stations. So when something happens, they stop, right? Okay, let's try and see now. Two of them is gonna move the last two pieces. Boom, boom. Then they're doing that. Okay, we're close. We're getting pretty close now. So these are basically like small state machines, right? That's. I think you could all figure that out by now. Else, because I think maybe it stops working. Haha. Okay, so as we could see, it works. You know, I'm just gonna try to see if this works. Oh, it has to be the other way around. Let's try one more time. They're moving the wood around. Now they're building. Yes. Okay. I don't like having these like negatives, so we'll just change this. Flip these two around. And here. As I say. And here. And here. We might get into some other problems later, but. All right. Well, that was it for today, and thank you so much for participating with me again. It's been a pleasure, and I will see you guys next time.